Hello, in this video I want to talk about setting up a file in Illustrator and using variable fonts. So let's fire up Illustrator. Okie dokie, so if you're starting new, you can do this. If you already have a file open, you can go File, New, but we're going to do New File. Okay, we're going to work in points. So one cool thing is that no matter what units you're working in, you can enter other units on the fly. So for example, points are really nice when working with typography, but we want our document size to be 7 inches. So if I type in 7 inches, it's going to automatically convert it to points. And we want 7 inches by 7 inches. For now, we're going to just be working in RGB. And we also want to have a bleed, and this is so that we can print past the edge of the frame and still have a nice clean image. And for this, we're going to use another unit called a pica, 1 pica. Create. And so here we have an artboard, and then this is our bleed off to the side. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is load up our reference thumbnail sketch. So I'm gonna make another layer. I'm gonna call this ref. We'll call this dev. Then, however you want to get either a scan or an iPhone photo, get your thumbnail to your computer. So I'm gonna do photos. So let me pause for a sec. I've talked about it a bunch, but it is really important to be organized. So here's my year. I have a folder for each class. I have a folder for each project. We're in project 2. I'm going to make a new folder for 2A. And I will save my image in here. I'm also going to save this in that same folder. And if you find yourself going to the same places over and over again, you can just drag it over here, drag your folder over here, and have a favorite, which is really, really handy. So I have my image there, and we want to have our working folder in the same directory. So I'm going to call this 2A version 0, and then my initials, PA. And all of this is fine. Okay, so now on my reference layer, I'm going to File, Place. I'm going to find my thumbnail. I'll line it up. Well, that worked out pretty nice with my document. Okay. Then over here, if I double click on this layer, there's the handy dim, so it's not too distracting, almost like a tracing table. And then we can also lock the layer. And what that'll do is I won't accidentally select it while I'm working. Okay? And then I can just turn this on and off if it's distracting. Okay, so then on my dev layer, this is where I'm going to do my work. And for this project, I recommend using the typeface I provided to you, but you'll want to learn how to install fonts. And so there's many different ways to do this, but I think the simplest way is in the Finder, and the Finder's a little smiley face over there, that's the Finder. You're going to go to the Go menu, and then watch when I hold down Alt, the library appears. Okay, so we're going to go to the library. In the library, there's a folder called Fonts, and then you can just drag your typeface in here. And so if it's in this folder, it's installed, and if it's out of this folder, it's uninstalled. And it's that simple. Then we go over here. There's 2 ways to create type in Illustrator. Method 1 is to just click, and the type is there, and this is great if you're working on single lines of type. If you're working with paragraphs, you click and drag like that. I just want single lines. So now I'm going to go with my type selected, I'm going to go to Properties, or I can go to Window, looking for Character, where are you? Type, Character. So this is a contextual menu, meaning it's going to update based on your selections, and then a character menu is like a locked menu. If your interface is getting all crazy and doesn't look like mine, you can just do Workspace, Reset Essentials, and it should look like mine. Then in here, you start typing the typeface you're looking for, say that, and then you can start working. If you've loaded your typeface in the font folder and it's not showing up here, I would recommend just restarting Illustrator and seeing if that helps. Okay, so now that we have our type in here, I'm gonna call this bilateral, and this symmetry. Actually, let's say I did it like this. Bilateral, and then symmetry. You can change your typeface on the fly by going to Type, Change Case, Uppercase. Okay? All right, and then this is a really cool typeface. You can select presets over here, but what I think is a little bit more interesting is if you go to this little spot over here, you can change its parameters on the fly and find out exactly what you're looking for. It's amazing typeface. If I want to grab the same settings for this that I have for that, I just eyedrop it, and then it picks it up. If I grab a corner and do this, it resizes, but it's distorting the letter forms. And do not distort the letter forms. It just doesn't look very good. Do something like that. All right. Okay, and then I could also, what's really awesome about, okay, so it's saying any hidden or locked will not be moved, so let's just unlock this for a second if we want to keep that reference image. Actually, I don't really need it, but what's awesome about programs like Illustrator is you can just make a copy and then try something else, right? And see if you like it or not. I want to have something bleed to the edge so I can show you how to set up printing. Maybe I want more symmetries. You want my symmetries that go forever, right? Okay. So this one, looking at it, is pretty straightforward, but this one where it's bleeding off the edge, it can be a little hard to visualize what's actually happening in our frame. So for that, what you can do is you can do View, Trim View, and that will show how it looks like with the crop. Okay, so this moment over here is a little fussy, so I'm gonna move this over, and then if I want, I can change things about my type very minutely by using hotkeys. So Command Shift comma is smaller, Command Shift period is larger. Then if I do Alt, that will adjust the tracking, and that can also be, if you just find between two characters, that will adjust the kerning. What else? If things were on, that's kind of fun. If things were on two lines, so let me just do that real quick. Let me turn off trim for a second. If I had type that was on 2 lines like this. So once again, that's bigger, that's smaller, that Alt tracks out, this tracks in, and then Alt up and down adjusts the leading. So you can really kind of fine tune your work as you go. All right, and then the next step is, let's say I want to print this out. I can say File, Print. You're looking for Kyocera 310, and you want to have, you can look at each page individually, and you'll see there's the dotted line there is your work area, and you can see that it's printing a little beyond that so that you have a nice clean print. And we want to turn our trim marks on. And then print, and cut it, and hang it up. Okay.